Hey guys, this is Ken's 97 Stow 171. I thought I would do an overview of my Chinese dirt bike. I bought this 3 years ago, and it's been a pretty good bike. As I mentioned in my Chinese dual sport ride video, really haven't had any significant trouble with it. Engine and transmission have been great. I've had no electrical problems, which is kind of unusual. And these Chinese bikes are kind of known for not having the greatest electrical systems in the world. But all I've ever had go wrong is a headlight burnout and a taillight burnout. Everything else is original. All the buttons and switches still work fine. And this bike sat out for all last winter uncovered in the rain and the snow. No problems at all. As you can see, there's some rust. You know, some places that have rusted. But you know, I didn't have any fogging on the inside of the gauge there. The only thing that has gone wrong is that the sun has faded this clear plastic cover that used to be clear. There's a gear indicator, and your neutral and high beam light is right there. I changed the grips. The engine is a overhead cam model with 2 valves per cylinder. As you can see, I've got a bit of an oil leak. It's coming off of, I think it's coming off the valve cover there. And I had a failure here about 200 miles after I bought the bike. There was a tack weld up here where the petcock tube went into the gas tank. They had a piece of metal that was welded around, and it cracked, and it was leaking gas pretty good. So I used some epoxy, sealed it up, and then also used some JB Weld to give it a little more support, because it's the handle. The knob is so far away from the gas tank, I think the stress was what cracked that metal. I'm going to put an inline fuel filter just to keep any crap out of, from getting into the carb. It is a single monoshock rear. It's very simple rear suspension. Just mounts to the swing arm directly. It's 5-speed transmission. Back to the electrical system. The one thing that's been really amazing is the battery. It came with a sealed, maintenance-free battery, and this battery has been amazing. It sat for 2 or 3 months at a time in the winter in the garage and outside, and it would hold a charge. Turn a bike right over. Very strange for a motorcycle battery in general, let alone one that came from China. One thing that did fail and could have been a really bad deal for me, the bracket here is not stock. The factory bracket was more vertical, and it bolted to where my finger is. These 2 bolts were the only place it was held on, and that bracket cracked and fell off, and a guy honked his horn at me while I was driving down the road. The battery was hanging by the wires down here by the rear wheel. Probably could have killed me if I'd have been unlucky that day. So what I ended up doing was taking the battery out of the bike and using the Kickstarter. So I drove it for probably 6 or 8 months that way. It's pretty easy to kickstart. And anyway, eventually I decided I want a battery back because the headlight and the turn signals didn't work so well without the battery. So I fabricated, got some junk metal, pop riveted it together, and then bolted it up, and then used zip ties to try to stabilize it a bit, to take some of the stress off of those 2 bolts, because it fatigue fractured and broke is what happened. Still running on the original tires, about 5,000 miles, 5,200 miles actually. I put about 2,500 miles on this bike last summer, all of it freeway, and as you can see, the tires are worn pretty flat. Not a lot of curves. The front tire is really worn strangely. It's got these low sections and then these high sections. It's kind of strange. And you can definitely feel it when you're riding. Disc brake up front, drum brake in the rear. Here's a better view of the engine. It's got a Japanese carburetor on it. The engine is a clone of the Honda XR200. The internals engine parts are not the same, but the external case is nearly identical. You can actually take a Honda case cover, clutch cover, and put it on there. There's a better view of the shock and the way that it mounts. Came with a toolkit, and I put my registration and stuff in there. As you can see, some of these parts, they work, but they're rusty from sitting out. It's got an oil view port, which is kind of nice. Also has a dipstick, you can check it that way. And yeah, the muffler, the exhaust system is rusty. And look at this crappy, the way they did that. It's like two pieces of pipe stuck together. And it's rusty, but it hasn't fallen off or, come apart. There's one strange thing about this bike. Most of the Chinese bikes you see on the internet, you hear people complain all the time about nuts and bolts coming loose, and that you really have to use Loctite to keep everything together. I have not had a single nut or bolt of any importance come loose. Axle bolts, engine bolts, anything important. Everything has stayed tight. The only thing that I had come loose was the heat shield on the muffler rattled loose. I eventually just took it off because I didn't really care. And in particular, the heat shield that bolted right there had a nice chrome heat shield that went around, and I just took it off. I got tired of retightening it. Loctite really didn't work so well because of the high temperature. It's got a 2-gallon tank. I get about 60 miles to the gallon. If you take it easy, you get closer to 70, but I'm usually on it pretty hard because it's only a 200. It's making about 15 horsepower, so it pretty much needs all the power it's got. Came with this nice rack here in the back, which I have used actually. Since I can't use my tank bag with this big gas cap there, my tank bag won't fit over the top of that. I just put my tank bag on the back rack and use the bungee cords. Electrical system is really simple. Actually, I've not found a fuse box anywhere. Kind of strange. But all the wires run up and then go into this big rubber encasement right here. And again, I've not had any electrical problems at all. Kind of strange, but happy for me. Engine takes about 1.1 quarts of oil. There's no oil filter. All you do is you take that bolt out, and there's a metal mesh screen in there, and you just take the screen out, spray it out with brake cleaner, put it back in, refill it with oil. Pretty simple. The original bike came with a 17-tooth front sprocket and a 57-tooth rear, and I could only get this bike to do 55 miles an hour revved completely out, so really wasn't usable on the highway at all with that, and it wasn't really suited well either for the engine. This engine doesn't make a lot of horsepower at the high RPM range. It's all low and mid-range torque. So I called Endless Journey Cycles. I'll post a link on the video here. And Bruce at EJ Cycles hooked me up with a 46-tooth rear sprocket. Made all the difference in the world. It was like an entirely new bike. It actually accelerates better because the engine can pull longer in each gear, and it is actually quicker with that sprocket on it, surprisingly. The other website I want to put a link up here is ChinaRiders.net. If anybody's interested in Chinese dirt bikes, there's a lot of good information on that forum. The other one, the other Chinese forum that it's mostly Chinese stuff, is Scoot Dog, and they do scooters. Most of the people there are running Chinese scooters. A lot of good information at that website too. So, well, I think that's about it. If you guys have any questions about Chinese dirt bikes, let me know. The place that I bought this was called Cheap ATVs in Milan, Indiana. That's their shipping address. They actually are in Elrod, Indiana. Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Take US 50 west out of Lawrenceburg. They're about 20 miles west underneath the Blue Water Tower, and I'll post a link to their website. I bought this bike for $900 brand new in a crate, and I believe they still sell them for that same price. Anyway, you guys have a good afternoon and take care and ride safe.